Based on the reports that we have, are we looking at a possible serial shooter that is targeting people in their cars in northern Colorado?
At this point, we can't say that. However, certainly there have been 3 different reports that we're aware of now in a little over a day period where vehicles had windows broken out. Obviously, the one that we received last night, we can confirm was a gunshot that caused it and injured the driver. The others, I don't know that they've determined yet. So from our perspective, we're communicating with the other agencies of jurisdiction, and we'll be looking at that to try to make a determination as to what's really going on.
By my count, I have 4, so I just want to clarify. We've got Tuesday's incident with the jail transport vehicle.
Yes.
A projectile, not confirming that is a shooting.
Correct.
Then we have Loveland around 10 o'clock last night. A
Correct.
man hears a pop, window blows out. Then we've got the shooting from last night as well. And then today, Well County is reporting that they're investigating a man who the window of his truck just blew out around noon today, and he believes that that was also a shooting.
We do have some of those conflicting reports. I don't have enough information on that last Weld one to say there's 4, but certainly it's a possibility. We just don't know that much yet, Lauren.
Okay.
Justin, how did you confirm that this one indeed was a gunshot? I guess the nature of her injuries?
Well, there's 2 things. One is the nature of her injuries. The victim on this received essentially a through and through gunshot through her neck. She's very lucky it did not hit arteries, did not hit veins, did not compromise her airway. She underwent surgery last night and is awake. We were able to talk to her today. She's doing very well, as I understand. And we are also processing the vehicle, and we do have evidence there, and I'm not going to comment on the specifics, but evidence of bullets there that led us to that conclusion that yes, it was a firearm.
Yeah, there was a second bullet lodged in a door frame. Is that?
Well, yeah, at this point, it's still a little bit unclear, so I'm not going to make comments as to what, but certainly we have recovered evidence that leads us to confirm that it was a gunshot.
Can you say whether or not it's a pistol or a rifle?
We can't at this time.
Describe the remarkable nature of her surviving this. Not only that, but pulling over, calling 911 herself.
I can tell you from everything that we've seen so far, a very brave young woman, having had a chance to listen to the 911 tape, how she relayed the information to the 911 dispatcher. In the beginning, she did not realize she had been shot. She had seen another vehicle in her periphery just as she was getting onto the interstate, and that's when her window, in her terms, essentially her window exploded, and with that, she originally believed that either the vehicle may have struck her that caused that, or that something may have been thrown from it, causing her window to explode. And so she did not realize in the beginning she had been shot. However, having listened to how calm she remained with the dispatcher, I can tell you a very brave young woman, and she did a very good job of relaying that information.
There's a little bit of a suspect description that you put out there, a dark SUV, but you said you're not ruling out other cars. Is there something people can be on the lookout for?
Beyond that, right now, we can't give anything more specific. We have nothing as to a possible individual involved from what we have. And with that specific incident last night, she did very vaguely describe, and it really, I would best describe as a peripheral vision right before it happened, seeing what she described as an SUV type vehicle. And I think we all know today that's a very broad category, from Suburbans all the way through the crossovers, and just that she believed it was dark. And so beyond that, and even with that, that's what she saw at her periphery. We can't absolutely confirm that what she saw there is where this gunshot came from. It's certainly likely, but not necessarily proven. So at this point, we're reminding people, keep your eyes out. Certainly anything that they see that might be suspicious, they see an individual, next to them or near them that looks that way, or that's following another car, by all means notify your local law enforcement agency. The second is if they hear anything. Certainly one of the things that we know is that individuals oftentimes will brag or in some form communicate to others. So if they hear something, let law enforcement know.
On that point about where the bullet came from, have you been able to either rule in or out that it was definitely another vehicle traveling on the road, or it could have been somebody at a fixed point across the highway, which direction?
I think that's a very accurate assessment that we don't know for sure. Certainly there's indications we should look for a vehicle that matches that description as a possibility. However, we can't narrow that down at this point, so we're leaving that open. Certainly the things we do, first is interview with the victim. Anyone else who may be a witness we're going to want to speak with. The other is the gathering of physical evidence. One of those is obviously physical evidence from the victim, physical evidence from her vehicle, and any other indications from the area, any physical evidence that might be located, or anything, videos from that area. So we're doing all of those things, plus any other clues that might come into us.
Any idea about recovery time for her?
I don't.
Okay, and her name, are you releasing that?
Oh, we're not releasing that yet at this point.
And just, Justin, go back to the idea that we've had 4 of these. So at first, I know there was talk that this particular case that you're talking about could have been road rage, but now it appears that, that's probably not the case, that this was more of a random drive-by. Is that fair to say?
I think it's very fair for us to express that we don't have any indications of this being a road rage type of incident that people would traditionally think of, where 2 drivers may have had a negative interaction. Based on the evidence and what we have so far and the interview, we're not seeing indications that direction. The appearance is that it's absolutely random, and we don't know why this young woman was selected, why this happened. So, with that, you'll notice that last night, in the middle of the night, we put a press release out, which is not typical if you have something you believe is road rage. I don't want people to overreact or underreact. We're simply getting the information out to be alert and aware. I don't have the kind of indications right now that would tell us that you're looking at incidents like we've seen in the Midwest or on the East Coast, where there was somebody out there, just targeting a lot of vehicles. We have these different vehicles with broken windows. That's certainly peculiar at the least. However, we recognize that every day there's vehicles traveling down the road that get a window broken from a rock, from something else. So we're not saying it is, but we're talking to every agency that has a case to try to compare the circumstances.
Do you know where she was headed at the time?
She was coming home from work and headed back to her residence.
In Milliken?
Headed back home. I don't know the specifics, yeah.
Are we correct in surmising this happened directly south of the Harmony Road overpass, southbound?
Well, it's my understanding it was right at that turn off of Harmony to the southbound, right as that turn occurred, as she was turning onto the on-ramp southbound, that she saw a vehicle at her periphery on her left that continued to go east as she turned south. And that's the vehicle she describes that is in that exact time period that the window went out.
So
So
it was actually on Harmony.
Harmony turning on to I-25 right in that area, yes.
But
Eastbound
she
on
pulled
Harmony,
over.
making a right turn to I-25, the vehicle continues east on Harmony.
As best as she could tell, she did not recall seeing it come down with her, and was of the belief that it likely went east, but we can't be sure yet.
Okay, but she came, that mile marker 263, that was where she ended up pulling
Yeah,
over.
my understanding, she went a couple of miles from the time, obviously, the incident happened. She got her phone out, she dialed 911 and covered that, that kind of distance. Once she started speaking with the dispatcher, they asked her if she was safe to go ahead and pull over. So that's what got her between there and the 392 exit.
Are you releasing the audio from that 911 call she made?
We're not at this point. It's my understanding that a copy did go out. The 911 did not come to us. It came to Fort Collins Police Department, and I'm of the understanding that a copy is out there. We typically don't release 911 tapes when they're evidence that may be used in a prosecution, so we will not be releasing anything from that.
And then were there any witnesses?
Not we've located so far.
Did you recover the bullet?
I can't comment yet. I know they're doing some processing, and they've gotten to the point of knowing they have a bullet. I just don't know for sure right now, Major. That's still in process.
What side was the van? What side was damaged on the van?
Well, it was her vehicle is a sedan.
On the,
Oh, on our van, it was the passenger side front window, is what I understand, with our sheriff jail transportation van.
We're going to have to wrap up in just
Yeah,
a moment.
we're good.
Yep.
Just
Okay.
one more.
We're good? All right.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
Thank
Thanks.
you.